Oh, hello. Good evening, and welcome to a later version of Talking Trade. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're at home now and sat down with your feet up, and maybe your tea's been put on your lap. That's what we like to have when we get home from work, or maybe you got to make your tea yourself. That would be a bummer, wouldn't it? But thank you very much for joining us. I hope you stay with us for the next sort of 20 minutes or so. And today we're talking about has construction gone online? Is it more going online these days? Everything we do, not the actual working and stuff, the hammer and the things. We've got one of our guests now, Jamie, who teaches electrical courses online. And Jamie should be joining me any minute now. He's going to come on the screen, and he's based... Hey. There he is.
I know, you're right.
Oh, thanks ever so much for joining us. Where are you, Jamie? Where are you in the UK?
I'm in Nottingham, just outside Nottingham, between Nottingham and a place called Southwell.
Oh, producer Jordan's raising his hands up in the air behind the scenes there. So, mate, tell us what do you do? What's your background and what do you do?
I'm an electrical engineer. 20 years I've known firm, and recently, when COVID kicked off, I went working for people just because I couldn't be bothered to deal with it all. And then I was working at FE a bit with 16 to 18-year-olds, didn't like it for reasons. And then I got drawn back into teaching in a college for adult learners, which I do like, which is why I'm on here now.
Ah, right. Okay. So you were working in colleges with the generation. That was teaching electrical installation, was it?
It was, yeah, same thing. But it's not very disciplined. Let's say. Let's put it that way.
But now you're teaching adult learners. Is that at a college or whereabouts is that?
So I'm at a private training establishment in Nottingham called Trade, and we do online, offline, and that offline. That's what we're going to come and see me, or do it online. So all the stuff for that kind of thing. So we get all sorts of different people coming through, which is interesting for me, to be honest.
So I guess it's slightly different from the colleges because the adult trainees, they actually want to be there and they want to learn the electrics.
Yeah, it's all down to money. We take money off people and train them, and a college, I think nowadays, takes money for getting kids in the door and don't necessarily care about the training. So there's a lot more out trainees coming through because I think the colleges are letting the younger generation down at me, to be honest.
Okay, so how much of your course is delivered online, or are you clearly just in face-to-face, or do you do most of it online?
So I do all the weekday courses, and we run weekend courses in person, and then we do distance learning, which I think you touched on earlier about, where there's no lecture on the screen going over on the computer like we are now. It's a package that you can go through at your own pace, which seems to be quite popular, to be honest.
So when, because electrics can be, because I'm an electrician, so electrics can be sometimes quite difficult. So, so that is a place where you want to ask a teacher a question because sometimes you don't understand what you're being taught. How do you find that? Can people ask you questions, or is it recorded what you deliver?
There's support for the learners. So if they bring up with a question, we'll support them. But obviously, I know what you mean. Sometimes what's on there, but on the flip side of that, someone who's retrained from a poor job like a plumber to be an electrician, they might not want to sit through 6 weeks of health and safety. They might just want to do that bit online and get that out of the way because they already know it. So I think the future is blended, where you're doing a bit of both. You can do some stuff online, you can do some stuff when you come in. Because let's face it, as they're the brickies, they're not going to learn to be brickies online, are they, by watching YouTube?
No, they're going to get more customers from it by the sounds of it. Now you're an old school electrician like I am. What do you think of these courses that you can train to be an electrician in 9 weeks? Apparently,
it's less than that. I thought it was 5 days at the sausage factories that produce these things.
What do you reckon? Is it because these people are going out as electricians after like a couple of weeks, and plumbers and all our trades all do seem to be being watered down by online courses? What do you think about that?
You know what? Before I started training, I used to probably think like that there was all sausage factories. But I do work in somewhere that cares about training people to a good standard. But I know there are people out there just pumping out sausages, to be honest. And the problem is nowadays, firms are their own worst enemy. All the big firms that used to exist, like I worked for a firm called Goodman Earthstats in Nottingham, and they'd have 10 apprentices every year, and I was one of them. And now the firms don't want to take an apprentice and pay for them. And now all we're left with is adult trainees. So if some of these adults trainees that get a hammering didn't get off their arse and retrain, there wouldn't be any tradesmen to be used, basically. So yeah, change my tune on that a bit. Obviously, I make my living out of it, but I do believe that if it weren't for adult trainees, most of the trades have been knackered at the minute.
Adult traineeships, there's more of them than there is actual apprenticeships.
Yeah, then that's the big firm's fault for letting the apprentices down at the end of the day. But also, the 16-year-olds want to sit there and learn how to be a bricklayer electrician. I mean, I did, but I still like messing around quite a lot. But obviously, with adult trainees, you get a lot less of that. When I'm in the classroom at the minute, if someone's paid money to be there, we have a good laugh, and I like interacting with people. But they're not naked on tables. You know what I mean? They're listening in and want to learn as well. They're not just running around chasing the birds around in the corridors and stuff like that. They're actually there to learn, and it's more enjoyable as a lecturer dishing that out.
Well, you've just taught me a new phrase, which is a sausage factory, which is absolutely fantastic, and we'll be using that from now on. What do you reckon? What do you reckon the future for training is for in construction, mate?
I've got to be careful here, but I think we need to get his finger out of the arse in the construction trade and start training people properly instead of trying to cut corners on it. Education's a business now. You've got academies, they're sausage factories pumping out kids because they get cash. And it's all about money in it. It's all about how many kids have I got on seats because that's how much money you get. And we need to stop thinking like that and think about quality because we're in Brexit, we're out of Europe and that. The standard of trades in this country is turd, to be honest. It needs a big kick up the arse. And it's the big firms and the bigger organisations, GIB, stuff like that, and the NIC, that they need to look inwards and help the trade out instead of just letting people get on with it how they want.
Yeah, absolutely bang on there, mate. Thank you very much. You don't work for the sausage factory. Tell us who you work for.
I work for Nottingham. We're Nottingham's premier provider of electrical training, both on and offline. So yeah, if you come in the day, you get to meet me, which will be amazing for you.
Jamie, thanks ever so much for joining us, mate. We'll catch up with you soon.
No problem, mate.
See you at the sausage
Thanks a lot.
factory.
I'm going back to the sausage factory now.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks very much. We've got a couple of comments there, probably for some people at the sausage factory, maybe. I don't know. You never know. Dave Wilcox, can you recommend a good electrician in Bristol? I don't know. Thank you ever so much, and we will see you next time. Cheerio.